Wind and water will always flow.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a tutorial on this interesting look here. It's created using the NARS Man Ray Love Game palette, and the reason it's so kaleidoscopic, is that a word? I'm going to use it, is because I tried to use as many of the different shadows as I could in one look, and this is what I've come up with. So if you want to see how I did that, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I have nothing on my eyes, just some concealer. I haven't set it because I'm going to use one of the shadows from the palette to do that. I'm going to take the shadow called Lady Killer, and it's this flesh tone shade up here. Probably a smidgen darker than I would normally use, but because I just want to use all of this palette, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to take that on a big, flat, fluffy-ish brush and set from, well, everywhere. Set right up to the brow bone. Now I'm going to take this sort of mustard shade here called Your Move, as per usual on the fluffy end of my Eco Tools brush. Just going to pick up a little bit, tap off the excess and start to make a transition shade here in the crease. I have no idea what I'm doing with this look, but the aim is going to be to use as many of these shadows as possible, or like as many of the different colours as possible. So this could end up, who knows how this could end up. Getting really good pigmentation payoff with this shadow, as you can see. I don't want to bother too much with blending at this stage. I just want to put the colours on and then I'll go around and blend more thoroughly afterwards. So I'm going to take that same shade and put it on my lower lash line. Now let's move into the khaki green shade, which is called Submissive. Same thing on the end of my Eco Tools brush and just building into the crease a little bit lower. I'm not surprised because I swatched these in store and they felt beautiful, and my other NARS palette is really lovely, so I just expected it to be about the same, but these shadows are performing really beautifully. They're giving a lot of pigmentation and they're very soft and velvety to blend out. That green is a really beautiful crease shade. I really like it. This would look beautiful if you just then took that green shade and put it all over the lid. It would look really nice, but because I'm trying to use multiple shades, I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to take that beautiful maroon shade down the bottom here, Blind Date. I'm going to take that on a flat shader brush and build it in this area here. I'm leaving a little bit blank here, pretty much where I ended the crease shade, so there's still a little bit of a gap on my inner corner there. And then we'll bring this burgundy shade halfway across the eyelid. Actually, let's bring it 3/4 of the way. I'm trying to be quite careful because there is a little bit of fallout, and also I'm wanting this to be quite opaque. When I swatched, this was the patchiest of the bunch. Not that it was patchy, but it looked a little bit stiffer and a little bit harder to work with. But using a flat shader brush like this and just patting it on, it seems to be giving a really nice finish and a nice payoff. I'm going to take the crease brush that we were using and give this a little bit of a blend around the place. So I'll start off by blending out this edge here. Then just take a teeny bit of the mustard shade on a clean blending brush and blend out this top edge here. Blending towards the brow bone. Now we're going to take this blue here on a flat shader brush. This one's called Long Game. I'm going to just put this on the outside edge, just where we left that blank spot. Create a little wingy V here. The blue definitely has less fallout. I'm going to use a pencil brush to blend these out because I don't want to move them too much. They're all going to start to blend together by the look of it. So just really focus it on the edge but not moving it around. That'll do for now. I'm going to come back to that, but now we're going to do the lower lash line. We're going to use this lovely green down the bottom here called Momentum. We'll take that on the other end of the Eco Tools brush. And we're just going to run that along the lower lash line. Start off with 3/4 of the way and we'll see how we go. Just decided to bring it a teeny bit further in, so really now I'm just leaving room for the inner corner highlight. So now I just want to go back in with the same shade of brushes, the same colours, and just define those colours on the lid a little bit. So I'm going to take another flat shaded brush, going into the shade Tryst, which is this gorgeous gold shade here. I'm just going to put that in the centre of my bottom lash line. And then we're going to take Dirty Talk, which is the most appropriate highlighting shade in the palette, this light sort of champagne colour here. And we're going to fill in the spot on the inner corner. And then just bring it around, connect it to the lower lash line. Take your clean blending brush just to soften the edges of that out. So you have to be quite patient here and do a lot of careful blending, or you're going to end up with a muddy mess. But it can be done. And now I'm going to go in, I'm going to line my waterline. So I'm going to line the top waterline with a black pencil as per usual. This one's a Lancome one. Just going to very carefully run this through the lashes at the top. Probably just on this outer edge right here. Now this one's the colour Jade, still a Lancome one. I'm going to run this along the bottom of the lash line. The same thing here, just running it through the actual lashes a teeny bit, just to deepen up that lash line. Then we'll be putting on some mascara. I'll be using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and we want to load this right up. Because of course, false eyelashes would look grand. It's a little bit worried for a second there that this just would not come together. I was like, this is just all blending into a shit show. But it's okay. I'm using Becca Opal as my highlight on my face, so I'll just highlight my brow bone with that too. Normally I do the inner corner and the brow bone the same highlight, but that one's quite grey and I'm just not 100% sure about that, so for the brow bone. So I'll just do this one on this lip. So we better keep the lip nice and neutral. I'm going to use Stone by MAC because it's a really nice cool toned neutral browny grey. You just want to take your finger and blend that out. I'm just going to put some gloss on. This is a Dazzle Glass Obviously Bare by MAC. I just went over my face with some double wear powder just to build up the coverage a little bit, because I feel like with such a heavy eye you really need a pretty flawless face, which I did not have, but now I do. And I'm just going to give a spritz of Fix Plus. Alright, so that's the end of this little tutorial and my first impressions of this NARS palette. This is probably not a look that I would normally do. I wouldn't necessarily want to mix all of these colours again. It was quite tricky to stop it from becoming a muddy mess, but I do really like the way that it turned out. And while I was using these shadows, I got so inspired for many different combinations that you could do, which would be probably more wearable. But anyway, I'm glad that I just had a play to see how many different colours I could put on my eyeballs. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next one.